What's up, guys? We're back again with another GOAT3D Podcast. I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, Mr. GOAT3D and Canna Crypto Pope. Did you guys miss me last week?
Oh, come on, man. It's never the same without you.
You guys
definitely
did
did.
well.
Man. You definitely did.
I mean, the market didn't do well.
Well, we blame you for that. We blame you for that. You weren't here.
Hopefully, I
He
can
was
bring
just
some
hiding.
good points.
He was just hiding because the market was better.
What's up? What's up? Freddie's Cruz just said, "What's up?" Hopefully,
What's
we
up,
get
man?
some good questions from you guys. I know you guys put in quite a lot of questions previously on some coins that you'd like us to catch up with. But guys, a lot's happened since I've been on this podcast, and there's a lot to go through. Amir, how's the market looking? I know you're the first guy that always looks at the market trends and how it's looking right now. I want to pass this over to you. I want you to give me a good rundown on what it's looking like right now.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to first look at the US dollar, because the US dollar will dictate what's going to happen in other sectors of the financial markets. Okay, if money is flowing into USD, that means money is leaving some other sectors and it's moving to USD. When money is exiting the USD, it means that money is getting drained out of the USD and moving away to other sectors such as crypto risk assets. Okay, so on Friday we had a release. On Friday the 7th of February we had an economic release which had three economic data in it. One was average hourly earnings for employees in the US economy, in the labor sector, and we had non-farm employment change, and we had unemployment data as well. And when I look at an article that came out on that day, what I like to do first of all is to put, when I look at the charts, when I look at the US dollar, I like to know why there's bullish candles being printed and why there's bearish candles being printed. So I like to look at the economic data articles such as this to put the pieces of puzzles together to figure out what's going on in the economy. Why are investors buying and selling the US dollar? So what we are seeing right now is, in this article by CNBC, it says that the non-farm payrolls climbed by seasonally adjusted 143,000 for the month, down from an upwardly revised 307,000 in the previous month, which was December. So what this means is that there's lower job creations in January. So the hiring slowed significantly compared to December, which is suggesting a weaker labor market in the United States. But, however, it also says that the unemployment rate nudged lower to 4%. So it's been lower unemployment rate, which is good, because that means that more people are working, and it's indicating that there's improved employment conditions, which is good for the US economy. But it says it's bad because a tighter job market could push wages up, which could fuel inflation. So when you have a tighter job market, that means that the employers, the companies, they really, really need workers. So they're offering higher wages in order to attract these workers to the workplace. And because of this, they have to compensate this loss from somewhere else. So when you have higher wages, these things add costs to the businesses. So the businesses have to charge higher prices for their products, so they can compensate for that. So that's going to cause inflation in the long run. So that could be something that we could keep an eye on as well, on inflation, and it could relate to the Fed's decision as well soon. And the article also says that there's been job growth for January in three sectors, which is healthcare, which was 44,000 new jobs, retail, which was 34,000 new jobs, and government, which was 32,000 jobs. This means that in these three sectors, there's stable employment, and these are essential industries, so they're expanding. And the only the negative in this is that because these are the only strong sectors for employment, this can lead to uneven job recovery if one of these sectors goes through a rough period. It's going to be very hard to recover because all the other sectors are weak, so they wouldn't be able to recover as fast. And another thing that was mentioned was that wages rose more than expected. So the average hourly earnings increased by 0.5% for the month and 4.1% from a year ago. So workers' pay pay is rising faster than expected, and higher earnings can boost spending and lift the economy, so it can stimulate the economy. But similar to what I said before, if wages rise too fast, it can drive inflation and cost for businesses. And the stock market was very slow to this economic release. There wasn't a lot of reaction, so people didn't really switch their stocks around that much. But treasury bonds have been sold off on that Friday, so the yields are higher. And it says that the Fed is looking to hold on at least till June to wait for another cut, and there's a 50% chance for that. So this reflects it. And when we look at the total market cap, because the dollar has a strength on that day, we are seeing a weaker crypto market. So last week on Sunday, the crypto market was literally hovering on top of this trend line on here, and I was telling everyone that there's a lot of buyers that have rejected this area previously in the market, which is the 3 trillion area, and we could revisit that area again and potentially liquidate this area. And because there's so many buyers here, they're going to have stop losses in place under their buys, so those stop losses could get triggered and push price even lower and cause higher and more aggressive selling pressure in the market. And that happened, and that did happen, okay, and it moved price even lower to 2.8 trillion. But this gap here did not get filled on that day, which was very interesting. It got rejected from the previous low, and it went up for a pullback, and we are now going on another pullback to the downside, and potentially we could get a movement to the upside back to that liquidity that was built up before the market sold off. And we don't know what's going to happen after that. But we could either do a continuation and go up, or we could just crash back down and take liquidity from this area and then go up. So we don't know what's going to happen after that happens. So do you have any thoughts on that, Cameron?
Absolutely. Can you see my screen this time? Because last week we had a few people saying we had some screen issues.
We got you.
So to answer Freddie's question earlier, lower employment equal higher inflation, meaning the possibility of higher inflation. Typically, lower employment, more spending dollars. People are spending more money. Inflation typically cools when that happens. But with how the markets have been responding, we just never know. So I try to keep all of our little drawings in from when we were talking in the weeks past. And I drew this ugly rectangle here where, if I just hide everything, this was our area of consolidation for the total market cap of crypto. And from the top of the bottom of this rectangle, without the wicks, we'll go off the bodies, we're looking at $531 billion just going bounce, 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 bounce. And what we said 2 weeks ago is that we want to break out of this area of consolidation and go. We need to retest it before we see the money flow back in. But it's interesting that we can see, we bounced right on the bottom here. Now we're coming down to a low area of stochastic RSI, which is typically your entry of the market. But we are coming on our micro bear, micro bull to possibly some more downwards pressure here. And this is on a 3-day. So we are zoomed out a bit. And when we look at a daily, we start to see a little bit of a different picture. So when you're talking liquidity, that's where these areas are. We can start to see that the liquidity is definitely now starting to be coming to the longs or coming into the market versus coming out of the market. I'm going to turn it off just so it looks a little easier for us. So actually, what I am going to do is, and where's my other one? So if you've been following us for a while and following me for a while, what I like to see are market entry signals. So we're still well above the 200 EMA, which is this line here. And on the daily, we've already got the bearish cross between the micro bull and the micro bear, micro bear, micro bull, micro bear. And typically what I'm always looking for entries on these micro bears is my drawing tool. First off, is I like to see this belly, right? So I like to see the market curl off, and then we get into here, and then we get our bullish cross here, and then we can go off to the races. We consolidate somewhere in here, and we start to go back up to, sorry, that's my mouse. We go back up to testing this resistance again, which is somewhere along this $3.5 trillion market cap. So we do have some news coming up with the markets. We have Powell doing his federal chair testimony on February 11th. And then we have the inflation, the core inflation, and all that news on, sorry, I forgot the date there, on the 12th. So there could be just some market hesitation here. But what we've talked about a lot is the manipulation. And when we looked at it on the 4-hour a couple of weeks ago, we were looking at how we had this beautiful triangle ready for a breakout. Well, breakout it did. It just didn't break out in the direction we wanted. It went to the downside. And that's the power of technical analysis. There is no guarantee. And you can see here, we were right in the middle of stochastic. And we were right in the middle of RSI. We were right in a whole bunch of compression. And there was no indication from Bollinger Bands to stochastic to RSI to what direction we were going to move. But the TA was showing us we were ready for a breakout. I still believe a lot of this is the shakeout. This is the market manipulation to cause the fear in the market, buy the bottoms. And I'm still very much long-term bullish. I think we're still into the bull run. But what we can see here now, just like we had over here, go back to my pencil. We can see when we crashed down here, we got the belly, we mellowed out, quick little flash crash, and then we converted, right? And there's our cross. What we're looking at here now is very similar. We've had our micro bear. We're starting to come in. We're starting to consolidate, right? So what we've done is we've bounced in this area. Now we're looking at to get the bullish cross and start to go back up and to retest, these different levels of support and resistance. So it's not going to be, but we do know, I was going to say it's not going to be a straight line, but what we also do know, money can move fast. If we look at the size of some of these candles, let's clean this up so it's a little easier to understand. When this came up in, what are we on, 4 hours? So in 8 hours, we had $302 billion injected. That's not small chump change, right? And then from the top here, in the span of 2 days, 4 hours, just trying to get it because of course it's right on that candle, we had 641 removed from the market. And that happened fairly quick in 2 days. And there's a lot of, in this period here, if you were watching YouTube or crypto Twitter, everybody was saying it's over, it's over, it's over, and until we see the specific signs that's going to tell us the bull run is over, I will tell you when I see them. This to me is what we've talked about before on the difference between this bull cycle and the last is we have manipulation from institution now. And then all the media and the events with Trump and the tariffs is what caused this one. I saw something really interesting that, when Trump announced the tariffs, the day before is when he loaded up on $200 million of Ethereum You would have thought he would have bought down here after his news for WorldFi Liberty. And somebody said worst insider trader ever. And that actually did make me laugh. We'll get into Ethereum in a bit, but the total market cap it does look like on the daily, we're starting to see this belly, which I think is the most important thing. We're starting to see it cool off. We're holding this level of support that has been whipped down to numerous times. We have solid support on the candle bodies here, and it's starting to go, and we're still well above the 200 EMA. Has it been punishing on alts? Absolutely. So if you've been all in alts, it hasn't been fun, to say the least. But it's not all doom and gloom. It's not over. If you didn't have stop losses in place and you're trading smart and you have equity on the side with some dry powder, there's probably some good entries on your tokens. And if you guys are watching, you can ask us about your specific tokens in the comments on whatever stream you're watching. And if you're not following Mr. Goat and Mr. Remy Rai or myself, Canna Crypto Pope, on Twitter, give us a follow. It gives us the incentive to do this and provide this information for you. But I'll hand it right back to Mr. Goat. That's my 2 cents on the total market cap.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned alts. I'm going to show you a chart that I've drawn up on the monthly on the Bitcoin dominance now. It's can you see my screen right now, guys? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, brother.
So what you're looking at right now is the Bitcoin dominance on the monthly time frame. And whenever the Bitcoin dominance is bearish, that means that money is leaving Bitcoin and it's moving into altcoins. Okay. And historically, whenever we had this bearish period, this aggressive bearish period on a monthly time frame, there's been an aggressive move on the alts. So money has been leaving Bitcoin and moving into alts. And the one time it happened in March 2017, and one time it happened in January 2021. And it looks like we pulled back towards the area where Bitcoin dominance previously aggressively got sold off in the previous alt season. And we call this the monthly supply. So we're back into the monthly supply again, as you can see, and it's wicked into it, and it's been rejected slightly. And I'm kind of wondering, are we close to another alt season? Because and if you look at the volume as well, look how similar it looks now to the previous alt season as well. It looks like the volume is rising in this area again. And RSI is also in a very overbought area as well. It's crossed the 80% mark. Volatility is also rising, as you can see. It's making me wonder, are we very close? So we are still above the 10 and 20 moving averages right now. So we need to see kind of like a big drop. As we kind of mentioned as well before, we are in this downward trend, right, Kenna? So we need to.
We're for the dominance, we're in an upward trend. But I know you're just fumbling. Like I'll show you. Like I've had this on the charts for ages. This channel, and this here was our last. This big dip over here was our last alt run, right? And then we consolidated some manipulation, and then this here is where we had our break of structure to the upside. And when in November we had this nice little play here, and we saw the alts run, XRP, ADA, blah blah blah, and everybody was like, "It's alt season, it's alt season," and I kept telling everybody, "No, it's not, because we haven't broke this bottom channel." And I haven't touched this parallel channel in eons. And if we look at where we're at now, if we were to extend it, this is on the 3 days. So 9 days ago, when everybody hit panic, look, it just clipped the top of that channel, right? Mm-hmm. So you can see right there, if we extend it, it hit it. And now what we want to see in dominance is just like a micro bear, how we want to see a curl for entries. For dominance, we want to see a curl to the downside, and then this will start to come down, and then we need to retest this channel before we get an alt season here. So as soon as we can bounce and go down, we're in an alt season. But like you just said, stochastic RSI is high. This is telling us we have movement to the downside. RSI is just under that 80-ish area that you were talking about, which is, you know, telling us we have movement to the downside. And that's exactly what we want to see when it comes to the dominoes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Ryan, what's your thoughts on this, man? Like, what do you think?
I completely agree with you guys. You know, I think obviously I missed last week's session. Obviously, I think the main talking point over the last, let's say, 2 or 3 weeks and why we saw maybe a Bitcoin drop was obviously fundamentally based as well. I know there's been talks about Chinese AI and DeepSeek, and you know, I missed that session that you guys had and you talked about it, which caused like a lot of panic in the market. And you know, when I was kind of like just doing my research and in regards to DeepSeek, it did seem a little bit like market manipulation to me. It did seem like, you know, Trump just got into power, you know, was hovering around 109K when he was in power. And then all of a sudden, boom, straight away, DeepSeek AI comes in. What I kind of was looking at as well, if you want to share my screen, kind of something that's quite interesting, something that we've been speaking about, myself and Amir, recently, is the legendary Nancy Pelosi, who's always ahead of the market. She always sells when the time's right, and she always buys when the time's right. So
she's a criminal, man.
She must have a crystal ball or something, no insider information or anything like that. But yeah, no, she sold her Nvidia stocks. I think it was in January 21st, the 21st of January. And you know, that is way before anything or any indicators on the market that were showing signs of a downtrend. Look at she sold her Nvidia stocks, which was quite a lot. You know, all of her tech stocks, she sold over 30 million. Which is insanity, you know. And there's a lot of people that actually follow her calls as well. So whenever she trades, she actually, you know, has a lot of people that are following her calls. I think you can follow her trading portfolio online. But what I was kind of looking for as well within this piece, as it was coming down, I was looking for some market stability. I was looking for some news. So the first thing that kind of like hit my radar was the signing of the United States Sovereign Wealth Fund. So this was what Donald Trump signed. It was a sovereign wealth fund, and the sovereign wealth fund is, you know, accumulating all the money from like foreign exchange, accumulating some of the money from gold, and starting to put it into some assets. Like, let's say apparently they want to buy TikTok using the sovereign wealth fund, and apparently they want to start buying some Bitcoin and Ethereum with the sovereign wealth fund. So as we started seeing like the downtrend in the market, I think February 3rd, off the top of my head, is when we started to see a little bit of a relief. And, you know, this is signs of market manipulation for me. You know, we saw downtrends in the market due to mass media storm of AI and everyone selling. And then all of a sudden, we started to see like some relief. And I think it happened on February 3rd. If someone's got a chart, they can probably see it. On the 3rd of February, we probably saw some relief when Donald Trump signed this sovereign wealth fund. So I think there's a lot of indicators in the market that are kind of like looking towards Donald Trump and looking at what he's doing with some of his executive orders and what the Fed are doing. And I think that's like the main driving force for the price of Bitcoin this cycle, alongside with the Bitcoin strategic reserves. There's been no news on that, and there's been like slight indicators on it actually happening. But I think it's one of those things that as the market kind of like matures a little bit, if there's no news around it or surrounding it, we might start seeing some stale price action until something actually happens. And as soon as that happens, yeah, we're good. We're good to the races. So yeah, I think this is something that people should look at. You know, I've retweeted it on my page as well, where Donald Trump actually signed the sovereign wealth fund, and there's a lot of information surrounding it. I don't take up too much time of this podcast, but everything's been retweeted on my page. And yeah, you want to look at what's happening in the overall market on the macro side. There's a lot of people that were complaining, saying it's the bear market. It's the bear market. I've had those messages as well, kind of. But we're completely far away from that. We're nowhere near a specific bear market. I'd say it's just a small, slight pullback as these big industries start loading back up. And as they load back up, they'll be pulling in some of these executive orders like the Sovereign Wealth Fund and Bitcoin Strategic Reserves to actually pump the price back up again. So it's the perfect time to load up your dips. That's all I gotta say.
And
Well,
if you look at this,
Go ahead.
I was just going to add a small thing. If you can share my screen, if you also look at the fear and greed index, we are nowhere close to greed right now. So this is also telling us as an indication.
You took it out of my mouth.
Sorry?
This just reset the fear and greed. So this was actually a decent thing to happen in the markets. We had massive growth. We were at all-time high. Nobody really talked about that we were in all-time highs, the total market cap of crypto and all this stuff. And when things are pumping, everybody is like, woohoo, bull run, we're all going to the moon, and then any slight correction or retracement to find resistance and to support, people panic. But that's healthy when we reset the fear and greed, because now it's enabled us to lift off even more. And you just brought up Bitcoin, so I'm going to add Bitcoin to the screen here. And same thing, our drawings from a few weeks ago are still on here. And this little arrow here was when that Sunday show, when we said, let's guess the price of Bitcoin to come and the resistance level. And I said 106,420 for the culture, but that's where I was seeing it. And we hit it a few, I don't know, what is that, 3 candles later, rejected right off it, blew past it. And then you can see this level has actually become resistance, And then when we look at, okay, the compression, like we were talking about before, we were looking for a breakout. We wanted a breakout and a retest over this line. But of course, we went down and we actually broke the 200 EMA, was able to come up. And now we're below it. And now remember, this is on the 4 hour. We're still above it on the zoomed out time frame. This is no reason to panic. But this here was the Trump tariff wars against the rest of the world, or a good part. And I think we're talking about that in a little bit. Yeah. But you said it was February 3rd, that article. And so one of NFAOFC's indicators is critical greed, critical fear. Greed's telling you to get out of the market here. Fear here is telling you to get into the market. And you can see on the 3rd, which is right here, is where it started to pump again. And same thing that we were talking before. We have our, we've come down. Here's our triangle. We're bouncing out and around it. And then now it's time to lift off. Exactly. And what we have too, when we look at my other indicators, is micro bear, getting ready to switch into a micro bull and move to the upside. Stochastic has been confused as fuck in this entire consolidation area. And RSI is smack dab in the middle. So I think a little compression in this rectangle here is where we'll see. Then we'll need to retest on top of it before we break. But it is Bitcoin. It can just do this in the drop of a hat in a few hours. So I never, ever want to rule that out of the situation either.
Agreed. Completely agreed. Yeah, that February 3rd is when Bitcoin kind of like just took up a little bit of a relief rally based on, I think, the Sovereign Wealth Fund as well. So I guess from that point, looking onwards, a lot of the news that is fundamentally, they will be driving the price of Bitcoin upwards. Like you said, technical analysis can only tell you half the story at times. When there's no indicators that the market looks like it's going to dump, then all of a sudden AI from China has just come in, and then all of a sudden there's a dump. Like you can't predict those things, but you can always prepare for those things, I guess, and not be completely in the market, and always prepare for those dips. I mean, Amir calls himself the bottom buyer, or whatever you call yourself. Like that's how you got to trade this market. You actually have to be prepared for those small little moves. Yeah.
Just kidding, buddy. Yeah. Mr. Tops. Yeah.
You buy bottoms, don't you?
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you have to be prepared for the market, especially with meme coins as well. You know, as we know, meme coins are more, you know, exposed to the market when Bitcoin drops. Like even a small 5K drop in the market will just cause, you know, a minus 80% in some of our favorite meme coins like UFD and some other coins as well.
Let's not jump into the memes quite yet. We still have Ethereum.
We do. We got Ethereum to talk about.
Ethereum, Solana.
Yeah.
And one of the things that came up earlier when you were saying, Mr. Goated, was about the US dollar. And a couple of shows ago, as you know, I like to talk about gold as well, because gold is typically where scared money puts itself. And we called gold ages ago, way back down in these days. I sadly removed the triangle I had for that breakout. And this one here, actually, I was trading this pump here with Supreme a little while ago. And with all this crash in crypto of money that came out, mark my words, it went into gold. And we can start to see, and we can see how we got out of the micro bear and we've been into the micro bull. And now we have critical greed firing. And when critical greed fires, we tend to start to see the correction. Now, whether this starts to curl and come down and, you know, start to retest these areas in here for gold, not 100% sure yet, but we'll probably see some stinky wicks. Money start to leave gold a little bit, flow into the cycle. I would expect to see kind of still up, because gold is still going to go up in my opinion, but it will have a little bit of a correction, a pull down, and then movement towards the upside. And to me, that would be a very healthy thing to happen for the crypto market. So just to add that in, because I didn't want to forget about what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, gold is considered as a safe haven, right? And it's been on an uptrend like crazy. It's because of the uncertainty, you know, of the economy. People are just not sure what the Fed's going to do, what the Fed's next interest rate cut is going to be. So it's just rising right now. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's why the crypto market is kind of on a slowdown as well.
Yeah,
you know, businesses are not really risking their money into risky assets. And there's not going to be a lot of turbulence because of that in the markets. There's not going to be a lot of volatility because of because on the article it said that they're going to be cutting rates like latest in June, right? So that's very far away. So it's very uncertain right now. Very uncertain macro.
Yeah, that doesn't just sit with crypto as well. That sits with the stocks as well. So Nasdaq has also fell down as well. Even if we look at Nvidia's share price as well, Nvidia's share price dropped quite dramatically. And it's insane that Nancy Pelosi actually timed the top. I'm looking at the Nvidia price right now. It's
well, I mean, she has so much of it. She caused the crash. Let's be honest. And all the people that follow it.
Yeah, no, she did. No, it's insane. Just looking at Nasdaq's share price right now and Nvidia's stock price as well right now, it's like, you know, it's part of the market swing. So I think Nancy started selling around 20th of January, 21st of January. And all of a sudden we just started to see a dramatic drop as well. And then even if you look at Nasdaq's price, it was, you know, steadily growing over the year, started to get like a little bit of a pullback. But then if we look at like over the last month, it's starting to come back down. Even on the 5 days, it's pulled back quite dramatically. And then even if we look at, you know, even what market open will be tomorrow, it's probably might start to see like a relief tomorrow, maybe. Fingers crossed. But I think short term's here. So the best thing to do is probably just load up on your dips. That time will come again when the market is going to be great again. So just DCA down, dollar cost average down. That's the best thing to do. There's no other.
Mondays, turnaround Tuesdays.
Yeah.
We got inflation data coming next week.
Yeah, we got to prepare for that as well.
Impact the market.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's it for Bitcoin and everything else. If you wanted to go into maybe Ethereum, Solana, talk about those altcoins potentially before we move into memes.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it. Yeah. I'll go first, and then you want to go after, just to get a lower time frame view of it.
Let's do it.
So let's look at Ethereum for a second. So Ethereum, in the last week's Sunday's podcast, Ethereum was literally around these highs, and it was below the monthly close. And what happened was the market, was really, really bearish on that day, and because of this strong selling pressure, it took Ethereum down from the 3,300 area all the way to the 2,500 area, and we literally retested that trend line that I drew last week. We were at the top of it. We went on top of it, and then we crashed below it, and we grabbed all this liquidity from all these early buyers that had stop loss buy positions here with stop losses. But again, similar to the total market cap, Ethereum did not take out these lows here. So we had some lows in this area, and Ethereum didn't really take out any of those lows. So it was very interesting. But one thing I found very, very interesting about Ethereum was that the volume. Look at the volume on that day. When the market crashed on Ethereum, look at how strong the volume was. Look how much the interest was in Ethereum. It's telling us that we're really, really close to something, close to old season or something, because of the high interest in Ethereum. And RSI is also hovering around the 30% area, which is telling us that it's all very, very heavily oversold. And we should see some curl to the upside soon. And we should see some interest back into Ethereum again to push it back up the monthly close again. And we do have some liquidity that is sitting at the top of the chart as well. So we need to, and we see some sort of formation, like a cup and handle formation in this area. We formed the cup and we're forming the handle right now, and we should see some type of buying momentum kick back into the Ethereum asset as well, and push it back up. And all the other alts will follow Ethereum once that happens. Solana is actually sitting above the monthly close. It didn't really take a hit as much as Ethereum did, which was very interesting, because I thought Solana would take a stronger hit because of how bad the network is compared to Ethereum, in my opinion. You can't handle high traffic. It just crashes. I don't know how they're going to deal with that once the retail and the traffic comes back into the network again, like we did in the last cycle. But it does look like we are forming this trend line on Solana as well, right here, where price is bouncing, and we haven't really retested that trend line yet. So we could see some, and we do have a trend line here as well, which is interesting. We could see some downward movements in Solana soon, to retest this area before we go up again. I don't know what's your opinion on this kind of, and we do have to see some high volume as well, high activity on Solana. But what's your opinion, kind of?
Well, I agree with you. Solana is a shit blockchain. You've known me for years. We've traded together for years, and I've said that for years. But the reason Solana is outperforming Ethereum is plain and simple. It's the attention on the chain with the meme coins and the trading, which we'll get into here shortly. Let's just quickly jump back to Ethereum. I'll do a quick 1-2 on Ethereum, and then we'll get into Solana, and then we'll go from there. So Ethereum here is just been painful this cycle. We did have critical greed fire, and we can see that it has done. We got the curve of the micro bull indicating downwards pressure, and then now we have the micro bear coming into what we've been saying earlier. What I always look for is that belly, to where we can start to see price start to come up towards the upside. This is the 3-day, and we've hovered down underneath this 200 EMA a few times. We had a big stinky wick coming all the way down here with the tariff crap and all the other stuff. And we could see it's just fighting and trying to stay on. But liquidity is building. There's a lot of liquidity down in this area to push it down. So as much as I want to see this curl on it, it really could be still downwards pressure to retest this level here of support, right? Which is roughly 2200, 2300. I don't think it would stay down there long, just like this wick came down and took it. I don't think we're going to be down there for long at all, but I do think we might be able to get some stinky entries. If I was to be looking at entering right now, I'd have a stinky entry at 23.45.77, kind of the bottoms of these in here. But if it holds here, we are looking like we want to turn around. This is on the 3-day time frame, remember. So on the daily, it is starting to look like we are getting that curl. We're down on the bottom of stochastic, which is telling us we're in a buy situation. I mean, we're right down as damn near low as I've ever seen in ages on the RSI, telling it it's time. We know institutions are buying Ethereum up like crazy. It is not a dead blockchain. And when Ethereum wants to rip, it's going to rip. And I believe it's only a matter of time. And on the shorter time frame, we can start to see the liquidity is actually building at the higher price points. And we're just, inverted hammer. To me, it's looking like it wants to curl and consolidate in this area, but we might get another one of these nasty wicks down for some quick entries, and on we go. For Solana, let's just go on the 4-hour. Solana has played out pretty much how we've called it for a while, right down to the same thing that we were talking about, that we would probably have a break towards the downside here because we had this pennant, but we were at the top of stochastic RSI. So Solana is actually, and we were at all-time highs. So this to me is no surprise for Solana, and it's having a better recovery than Ethereum because of the attention that we were just mentioning on chain with the memes and things like that. And here's a great example of we're starting to belly out right there, and we'll hopefully, get that bullish cross here soon by the end of the week. I think with Gordon Powell, speech that always has apprehension in the markets. We are in a buy situation from 2 days ago, which is seeming to play out quite nice. And if Gordon Powell stuff is good news, we'll see big green candles pretty quick. I think the rebound here, the fear is there. Like I said, all the YouTubers, all the Twitter is doom and gloom and it's over, and all that kind of a thing. Hey, Frank the Tank is in the house. I love it. Good to see you, buddy. And Jayat Singh, love it. It's nice. There's still optimism in the market. I was going to say we should bring up the psychology of the market chart, if anybody has that handy, because I'd be curious as to where you think we're at in the psychology of the market. Because the key for me is to buy the blood on the streets, to buy the fear. When everybody's saying we're mooning, that's usually your indicator to GTFO. When everybody's like, oh, it's over, there's no bull run this year, there's no alt season this year, that's usually your indicator to don't be a sheep and get in. So
I've got it up if you want to show it.
Yeah. So where do you guys think we are?
I think for the alt, can you see my screen? For the altcoin for the altcoin market, I think we're kind of in this area right now, and I think for Bitcoin, we're in this area right now. That's what I think. So we're nowhere near close to this one, like you mentioned, because I'm not seeing loads of people being very confident about the market, But I think we're in this area somewhere. This was the bear market, for sure.
Yeah, I think we're in between potentially hope and optimism. I think previously I did think we were in belief, but I'm kind of in between hope and optimism in between there. It's just probably just in between the middle of it. I think we've still got some time. Previous cycles, the top's always been in Q4 of the year, so November, December, for Bitcoin. So I think we've got a good 8 to 9 months of Bitcoin potentially running. Of course, during that year, there's going to be multiple pullbacks here and there. But I think we're in between hope and optimism for sure.
Mm-hmm. And that's music to my ears, man. I would love to see that actually play out. So that means there's still a lot of, a lot of gains to be made.
I think so. If we zoom out on Bitcoin, and we can actually start to see the past, bull runs of this, and this is on the 3-day here, right? We can see here was hope, optimism. This all here was disbelief. I was called so many names when I was telling people we were at a bull run. Right. This, I believe, this stretch here is the hope. This was the disbelief. This is the hope. This is optimism. I believe we are in there. So if we take out this circle, 1, 2, 1, 2. So we still have this whole movement that we had here from this circle still to go. And I think I don't think we're going to moonshot like into the 500,000 or 1 million per Bitcoin this cycle.
No.
I think we're going to have, and we always have depreciating gains, right? So that's 96% roughly from the bottom of that channel, just doing that quick and dirty. 96% is roughly 180.
Yeah.
And I've been saying around 180, 200,000 Bitcoin is reasonable. And I think that's where the euphoria is going to kick in, and everybody's going to be like, oh, we're going to break 200, we're going to break 200, we're going to break 200. And then that's when we're going to have our first crash pullback. We might touch the 200, and then that's when it's going to pull. So I still think I agree with both you guys. I think we're in that optimism phase.
Yeah.
So if you lived on crypto Twitter, crypto YouTube, you would think the sky is falling and the chicken and all of that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think I previously had 150K for the cycle. I didn't expect as much industry attention this cycle, I guess. But I think realistically, like you said, everyone's expecting that 500K. But realistically, do BlackRock and all of these banks want us to get to 500K that quickly without loading up as much as they can? No, they don't.
Ryan, but there's extended cycles, man. What are you talking about? Extended cycle?
The last time I heard extended cycle was in 2021-22 cycle, and I will never believe it ever again in my life. Never again.
That's when you know it's the top, when people talk about
when someone says extended cycle, that's when you get out. Yeah, no, for sure. I think realistically, these guys, they will give us some hope and optimism this cycle, and they'll push it up to high amounts, but they won't push it as far as the 500s and the millions. Like they wouldn't want to do that soon. They'd want to at least collate as much as possible before they actually moonshot it, like you said. But I can't see that happening this cycle. Sorry guys, sorry Moon Boys.
Well, I mean, we also had this week Strategy B formed with Michael Staylor, right? Which great name. Can't believe nobody ever thought of that before. And we have all the institution buys, and I do believe it will take us to that next level of the bull run. And then that money, like we talk about in that dominance, is going to shift. The Bitcoin is going to slow down. Alts are going to rocket. I keep, when the market is going well, you hear super cycle this year, and then when we get a little bit of correction and retracement, which is normal, healthy, and necessary, we have no bull run. That was it, pack the bags. So if you just use market sentiment as an entry tool, now is a great time to be dollar costing your entries. Or if you're in entries, like I said, and they're pulled back from them, now is a good time to grab them and lower your dollar cost of entry, and go from there. So that kind of, I think, covers our total market cap, our Bitcoin dominance, our Bitcoin, our Ethereum, and our Solana. That leaves us with the Mr. Meme King. And if you guys don't know, the Cryptoverse is a Telegram where some of the best calls from some of the biggest meme coins ever have been made by the two gentlemen above me that have finally convinced me to get into a few more meme coins, even though I've been in a few, but very small, not like you guys. Where do you want to take it next?
Let's start with NFTs. No, I'm joking.
I'll show you my hidden portfolio if you want to show me yours.
No. We'll leave NFTs for another part of the cycle, I guess. But yeah, no, for sure, we can kickstart with some meme coins that I've got on my radar, and I'll give a shout out to some of the guys that have already called in our chat as well. One that's obviously caught the radar this last 2 days is Big Balls. I don't know why it is with these meme coins, but big Balls, what a name! Like, I mean, you've got Big Balls, right?
Well, you want to find out?
You got to just loving this shit.
Pause. But yeah, no, that's been a kind of like the theory of what happened with Peanut as well. So Big Balls is like used for the US politician debacle right now in America right now. It was someone who got doxxed from the Department of Government Efficiency, and his pseudonym is Big Balls. And he was on the Doge Department of Government Efficiency team, and Elon kind of like has been talking about it as well, mentioning Big Balls on his Twitter page, which has been quite funny, and it's been mentioned on CNN as well. Like, they've actually said the word Big Balls, like they've named him and everything. So yesterday, this was I think 2 days ago now, this was called at 240k market cap in our Cryptoverse Telegram. By Crypto Grandpa. And if you know Crypto Grandpa, he was on the initial CTO team for Peanut, and that was around that 20k market cap. And when I first put Peanut in the group chat, it was 27k. It ran all the way to 100k, and then it died. And Crypto Grandpa was like, "Let's go, let's run a CTO on it," and it was at 20k market cap. And he was even more bullish on Peanut than I was. And this was for his reason was because it was being used by Elon and Donald Trump as a indicator for their US politician race. And now this is the same thing happening with Big Balls. He was very, very bullish on it at 240k market cap. He posted it in the chat. A majority of people faded it. I was able to get an entry around 5 million, 6 million. I actually put in quite a big bag in yesterday. And then it just literally just shot up straight to 60 million yesterday. And that was all within a day. And I think that was initially 122x call. And then it turned into a 223x call within our chat, which is incredible. So shout out to Crypto Grandpa on that. Do take a look at Big Balls when you've got the chance. Look at the narrative. I'm not going to waste our time on this.
I do every day.
Yeah. Look at the narrative on big balls and look at what's happening in the US media right now with big balls. Another one as well, which has been called in our chat, was jail stall, which is now the talk of the town. Like even David Gockstein's live talking about stall president. And this was called at 1.5 million market cap yesterday. And unfortunately, I did get in this quite early. And then I sold it at around $6 million market cap. So if you know who, I think it's Dave Portnoy or something like that. He's the founder of Barstool, and he's jumped into the crypto space, and he's been talking about launching a meme coin. It was talks of him and Kanye West launching a meme coin, and then a coin called Jailstall was launched yesterday. And he kind of gave it like its initial push. He showed it on his page. He said he's going in. He says that he's got all of this, supply, and he's ready to send it to the moon. And then he went on Twitter Spaces live, and then kind of like denounced it and said, "Oh yeah, I'll just probably launch another coin." That coin died. It went from 6 million. I sold it. It went from 6 million down to around 2 million. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened overnight. I was sleeping. It went straight to 200 million overnight, which is absolutely insane. And I think he's actually starting to endorse the coin now. And it's taken a lot of liquidity out of the space. It's taken a lot of liquidity out of a lot of the coins that we're seeing on Solana. And yeah, it went straight from $1.5 million market cap in our chat all the way up to $220 million market cap. So, 200x calls yesterday in our chat. I just want to give a shout out to those guys. It was High Limit Hustle who actually called it at 1.5 million market cap. Yeah, you guys are doing great in that chat. I just want to give you guys some props for staying in the trenches. It's been, not the best times as of recent because of, the market conditions, but there's always 100x's to be found. There's always, chances to be found. And yeah, you guys are finding it, giving the opportunity to people in our chat. And we're very grateful for that. So yeah, keep your eyes out for some of those coins. Another one as well that we've been looking at as well in the chat is the test token, which is a very weird one, which is on the BNB chain. So we're starting to see a lot of money flow to the BNB chain. It's a shame we didn't check the BNB chart and seen what it was doing right now, but we're starting to see like a little BSC chain mini altcoin run on some of the tokens. And this is a test token that was, was launched on the BNB network quite a while ago, actually. And then it was launched on the platform that I think it's 4Meme that I think CZ has endorsed. And yeah, it was, very, very low. It was posted in our group chat again at 1 mil market cap. I don't know what it is with 1 mil market caps, but yeah, recently it's just ran up to 500 million within like 3-4 days, which is absolutely insane. So there's so many plays out there that people are missing because they're on multiple chains. On the BSC chain right now, Test is the one that's running the market right now. I think Binance actually listed it as well. So CZ is all over it. And yeah, no, it ran straight to 500 million. It hardly had a pullback, but we're starting to see a slight little pullback now, which is
what's it about, this one?
Quite interesting. Say that again.
What's this talking about? Like,
it's a test token. Look, it says this is a test token. Why buy it? Why buy it? This is a test token. But what do the meme coin buyers do in the market? They just buy shit. So now they're buying test tokens and sending it. So yeah, it was one of the first test tokens that was on I think the 4Meme platform that is for shit coins on the BNB BSC network. And yeah, CZ has been ball posting it. So if you go on CZ's Twitter, he's been talking about test token. He's been talking about it being launched on, on Binance. And even if you just look at 4 right now as well, which is 4Meme, yeah, this is something that I think they've launched themselves. It's the first meme fair launch platform on the BNB chain. So this might be actually a token to look at as well. So yeah, it started to get that initial rise in the same period, February. That's where we started to see a lot of the BSC coins start to run. So BSC chain right now is on fire. Of course, it is meme coins, of course, play with small amounts. When I jump in a meme coin, I only use like $100, $200, unless there's conviction. But yeah, if you go into a different network, just make sure you've got the right wallets and make sure you're sending the right tokens to the right wallet as well. Because if you send your tokens to a different blockchain, it can be lost forever. So yeah, just be careful if you're heading into the BSC chain.
Will be. Do you want to talk about your unicorn fart dust?
For sure. I think Amir's got a chart up ready for it, so I'll let Amir take this, and then I'll jump into fundamentals.
Yeah, for this chart, I'm not going to go on to TradingView because the data on TradingView is limited. It's not showing us the actual launch of the token. So I'm going to go on Dex Screener, which I have it ready actually here. There we go. It looks like Unicorn Fart Dust is now, the last time we talked about it was literally around these areas, like when it was hovering around the trend line. And now it's going on a deeper pullback towards like almost like an accumulation zone right now. Okay, it has broken below this support around here. And if I zoom in onto the 4 hour, I believe there was a gap in this area. So let me just zoom in. So when we go on the 4 hour time frame, it seems like there was a gap in this area and like an equal low in this area as well. And that gap has now been filled by this downward pressure down, and then now we're going back to literally launch prices at the moment. So we could enter a zone where we could just move sideways and we could go into accumulation. The buyers and sellers start buying at fair value, and then we wait until aggressive buying comes in to push it back up again. So I think the momentum is slowing down, but the community is still on fire. I did buy at these. I've been buying every single dip. Every time it drops, I'm buying it to dollar cost average. So I've got a really good entry at the moment on this token. But the community is still alive, man. Ron is still doing videos on a daily basis, right, Ryan?
He is.
Yeah, and the community is still behind it. And in this, and what we have gathered over the past few years of experience in this market, big communities and dedicated communities are the real winners in the space, especially when it comes to meme coins, because meme coins are literally empty assets, and there's really nothing behind it, like tangible or anything like that, but what really drives the price up is mostly, obviously, is because of the hype around the whole crypto market, and the community and the exchange listings that come through to bring more volume into the asset. I don't know what your opinion is on this, Ryan, if you want to add more on top of this.
It's the same. Like, even if you just share my screen right now, kind of, I know it's just going to be a quick switch over. There's still whales that are, looking at UFD. There's still people that are ready to buy in. I mean, someone just put, I think it was 134K in one clip and caused that green candle spike up from 40 mil to 44. Obviously, we've come back down a little bit now. But there's still people that are buying, like, a large amount of unicorn fart dust. I think realistically what we're starting to see right now is we're starting to see a lot of coins being rotated from the Solana network, because Solana is, it's an echo chamber. So if there's something that runs on there, there's people that will sell trying to catch other coins. And with unicorn fart dust, I think it's one of those coins that has like the conviction to it. So as we know we've been in this market for quite some time. The cream always rises to the top. And for now, there's so many meme coins that are launching instantly and they're just running straight away. I mean, even if you just look at the chart, we had a brief, run up all the way to, it was like $450 million market cap. There's still a lot of big pages posting unicorn fart dust and still a lot of holders in it as well. So I'm quite confident that it will rise back up again. Like you said, there was gaps in the market that needed to be retested. And, it's kind of just like illuminated with a lot of the things that have happened in the market. We've had Trump launch. We've had, Barstool launch as well, which ran up to 300 million ASAP within a day. So there's been a lot of rotation of capital towards these meme coins that are just launching as well. And even if we kind of like think that Kanye West is going to launch his supposed meme coin, if it comes, I expect unicorn fart dust to go down as well, and a lot of other coins to go down as well. I mean, we're looking at, if we look at some of the coins that were there previously at the top of the cycle, let's say even Fartcoin, that was at $2 billion market cap, and now Fartcoin is, it's literally just hovering around, I think it's the 500 million mark, which, we expected Fartcoin to run all the way to billions and billions and billions. But if we follow the Fartcoin chart, it would be quite similar to what we're seeing with unicorn fart dust as well. And it's just a rotation of liquidity from other coins to, from these conviction calls that people have to the new runners, and that's just the part of the parcel that we have with the Solana meme coin space. The liquidity is rotated between the capital. There's not that much liquidity in there for everything to run, which is a shame. But I think the cream will always rise to the top. Even if you just search $UFD in your searches on Twitter, you'll still see that there's an active community. There's always people posting. Ron is live every single day. He was just live 2 hours ago. I guarantee he'll be live again within the next 6 hours, which is testament to him. He's not giving up. I mean, he was someone who held a lot of money in his wallet. He got hacked, and then MoonPay came and backed him. Ledger came and backed him. So there's still a lot of things for Unicorn Fart Dust that I've seen fundamentally that gives me conviction with it. Even if we see it down here at the lows, there's always going to be a time when these meme coins run again, and they'll run to the meme coins with the strongest community. They'll run to the meme coins with great liquidity in it as well, and they'll run to the meme coins that have reached those heights before, like even the likes of FWOG, which hit $700 million market cap. That's now sitting at, I think it's around like $60 million, which is absolutely insane. So and even if we just look at the artwork for it, FWOG is one of those coins that I actually like. The community is still bullish, it's still strong. And this ran all the way to $700 million in market cap, which is absolutely insane for a meme coin. And it's now sitting at $60 million. So it's just part of the parcel. I mean, this does look good. I might actually put in a buy down here, actually, because it looks like it may have gotten down.
I look at that and I go, that looks terrible. How do you recover? Because I don't know, man. This is where you and I always kind of disagree on some of these, because I find the attention, if the community is not behind it, the attention goes. Like I've been in crypto since it was only a couple thousand cryptos. Now we have 1 million a week.
Yeah.
And are people going back to these old FWOGs? Are they going back to something that like Fartcoin that doesn't really have a community? Sure, there's a few people posting some memes about it, but a few people posting and wanting to try to pump their bags and community are two completely different things.
Yeah.
I'm not saying UFD is in that position. As you know, I hold bags of UFD, and I believe that there is a strong community behind it. But when we speak of strong communities, you know where I'm going with this.
Oh boy.
I mean, even just in our chat alone right now, the majority of the comments are again dominated by Fart Boy. And I look at this chart and it's still super bullish to me. This here is when I introduced it to your community. And for right now here today, we'd be up, if you got in on that call in the Cryptoverse Telegram or follow me on X, you'd be up over 5,490%. This was our show last week where we talked about it. So if you saw the show last week and you didn't panic sell in that first few day or so after, just from last week to this week, you're up 376%. This thing is making news all over the place. It's trending on, CoinGecko, Solana magazine or whatever it's called, did a big article on it. And I mentioned this before, when we talk about community, I haven't seen a community like this since Wall Street Bets and the Bored Ape Yacht Club. These people are a diehard with this token. Get in the Discord if you want to see what I'm talking about for Fart Boy. It is absolutely insane. But what do I see here when I look at this part of the chart? We're just going up and we have a bullish flag.
Mm-hmm.
right? And I do believe that this has all the potential in the world, this bull run, to go to $1 and higher. Obviously, we will have pullbacks. We will have areas of consolidation. What I tell everybody is if you are not in any of these tokens and you want to be in some of these tokens, what you want to do is dollar cost average your budget. So go on a shorter time frame, take your budget that you want to invest in, divide it by 3. That first third, go on a smaller time frame, buy a red candle. Now you're in the game, because if it rips, you're going to be on the sidelines going, fuck, I wish I got in, right? But if it dumps, now you have your other 2 buys to dollar cost your entry, and you're just gaining more tokens. So it's a win-win situation. So it's something that we take for granted, that a lot of people know when we do this show, that, you know, everybody kind of understands that. But it's something I've learned being in the Fart Boy Discord, that there are a lot of people that always ask, is now a good time to buy? Or when do you know a good time to buy? And the good time to buy is always yesterday and right now in some of these kind of projects. Some of the big news with Fart Boy this week was 3 exchange listings, KSEC or whatever it's called, KEC, Gate.io, and we have just announced from CoinsKid on his videos and TA on it, is that we're looking at MEXC. We're just in the final phases, is from what I've heard in the community and the team behind it, to pencil the last few details, and it'll be on that exchange as well. And as Amir and I were talking before the show, I'm actually going to look at becoming a market maker with that, and possibly doing some liquidity for the actual token, because I believe in this community. They have the Wall Street bets, I'm not fucking selling mentality, and the chart represents that. And if for your community and for those that have been keeping up with the show, it's been just another one of our great calls that we can add to the list that I don't think has come anywhere out of running out of steam yet. So it's been exciting. It's been exciting to watch. It's been exciting to get the DMs from people, from our followers, from in the Discord, from on Twitter, to say, hey, thank you for showing us these things. We've changed lives, or changed their situations currently for a little bit better. And to be honest, that's what gives us the motivation to do these shows once a week. So we love hearing about it. And if you're not following us, this is my time to tell you again. On Twitter, you should be following Mr. Remy Rai, Mr. Goated, myself, Canna Crypto Pope. They also have the Cryptoverse Discord, or the Cryptoverse Telegram, my bad, that you can get the information off of their socials and under the links below, I believe. And then, of course, we're also streaming to NFA, which is another one of which is the business account to do this. So we can actually give non-financial advice, of course, without having to worry, and go from there. And we have a comment here. Hyperpigmentation.
That's your baby, isn't it?
It's not, but it is another one of those little gems that I found, or was for back. I won't take credit, but it was brought to my attention. And a lot of this stuff is about knowing people. It's about research and looking into things and finding out the stories behind them to drive them. And hyperpigmentation, hyper for short on the soul. I dropped this in your community right here, and it's had some pullback. We're doing a beautiful cup and handle formation, but even to its current price from the drop, we're at 373.88%. If you time the top, which nobody does, you would have been at about 892% call just in a few days, people. So as Remy said, there's always opportunity out there. One of the things, the same thing, like, rugs, blah, 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 CTO starting. I don't know too much about it. But what I do know is it got millions and millions and millions and millions of views on TikTok. And I'm the old man in the group. And the one thing you guys have taught me, don't fade TikTokers. And so that's kind of how it came to be. We can see a beautiful cup and handle formation here forming. So this actually would be looking like a decent entry for more movement to the upside. Other than that, that's kind of about what I know from it. And I trust some of the people, like obviously how we trade together. So when I have stuff that is delivered to me and say, hey, people go, hey, you should have a look at this. And then I go digging into it and I kind of go, yeah, this fits the narrative. I take the strategy of dollar cost averaging those entries, buy a little bit, buy a little bit, buy a little bit, get in the game right away, wait for some red candles and get in. And don't use your rent money, your food money, or, you know, that kind of a thing. And you can ride some of these to the moon, and some of them just do turn into absolute shite. And that's why I try to be really choosy with them. From my perspective, I'm not as active, obviously, in your group. I'm very selective as to what I drop in that as well. But I think the two meme coins that I would have my attention on, number one by community, absolutely Fart Boy. Number two would be Hyper. This has something behind it. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm trying to figure out a little more, but I'm excited to look at both of these tokens next week to see where we stand with all of this and how the market plays out this week with Powell. And do we finally get some consolidation and start to rip? Or are we going to see a little more shakeout and a little more fear in the markets and a little more blood? So I think that's all I wanted to cover today, gentlemen. I don't know where you're hitting at. We're a little over time. We're an hour and 15 minutes. And you can always tell when the markets are depressed, our viewership's down by usually about 2/3. So we're at 740 viewers. To all of you watching, thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate it. I'm going to give the closing words to my boys here. Have at her.
Cool. I was just going to say, Ken, if you can just share my screen. Again, thank you to all the 700 that have joined and are watching. You know, it is a Sunday. It's Super Bowl weekend as well, so I don't expect everyone to be here, you know, today. But if you are enjoying Super Bowl weekend, just look out for some tickers because they might just show up on a page called Whale Watch. So Whale Watch was provided by Asset Dash. They've got their own token, which is Moby, $Moby. I think we got Moby within our chat. It was around like $4 million market cap. It did peak at $200 million market cap as well. So if you got that, that would have been a nice 50x on your investment and your gains. Of course, what Whale Watch do is they track all of the whales that are buying coins in the market. I mean, even just now, we were just talking about FWOG as well. At the bottom, someone's just dropped 37.61K in FWOG. So make sure that you're following Whale Watch. Make sure you've got your notifications on Whale Watch as well, because you might actually see some new runners that come out of nowhere. And what I like to see is I like to see coins at the lower market caps, like something like this. If a whale is jumping in, if they're buying like 5K of that, I'd have a look. If it's at 900K market cap, I wouldn't necessarily just jump in straight away, but it'll increase my attention to it straight away. And all you have to do is you just have to click the hyperlinks. I'm not going to click it right now, just in case it's a coin that's not friendly for Twitter viewership.
Well, that's a good thing. And when you're looking at these meme coins or smaller market caps, it is good to look at the purchase volume that's in there, because you know what I've always said about Fart Boy is they eat the dips. You know, you can see it in the wicks. When anytime the price falls, it just all of a sudden back to where it was. And there is somebody right now out there doing $20,000 buys nonstop every time it dips.
Wow.
Hasn't sold the token of it. So that, and Whale Watcher as well. There are some wallet watchers that are good to watch. Is great advice. I can't believe we've never talked about this before on the show. for people that are new to this game and looking at that kind of a thing. I guess we could also ask the crowd of 774 viewers if they do have any questions they would like us to answer. Joshua has one here. Can you talk about what you think of fart coins like Fart Baby, Fart Man, and Farty Pets? Absolutely, I can. They're all absolute fucking garbage. Pardon my French. Anytime you see rip-off coins of memes that are accelerating, I'm not saying you can't make a little bit of money on them, but get in, get out. Get in, get out. Anything that's a shadow project of something else doesn't stick around in the game. Those are the ones that are there to suck out your liquidity.
I completely agree with you. I think that's raised one important question on where you see Fart Girl and what you think of this.
Fart Girl follows the shadows, and I leave this alone a lot because there's a rule in the Fart Boy Disc Club, and that's you only talk about Fart Boy. It's very much like the mantra of the Fight Club. And Fart Girl follows the shine of Fart Boy, but there's no CTO behind it. There's no raging community behind it. It's not being listed on exchanges. And I do know, to be honest, that I know of whales that have admitted to, they suck the liquidity out of Fart Girl and dump it right back into Fart Boy. And that's why out of nowhere, you see these big pullbacks. Because they know it's a copycat project and they know people are going, oh, it's got a smaller market cap. We have a better chance to make more. That's not always the case at all in this kind of a game. And so that's one of the things you definitely want to look out for any copycat project. I have held bags of Fart Girl, I'm not going to lie, but I did that exact same thing. I sucked all the liquidity out. Caused a few red candles myself and put it right back into Fart Boy on a red candle. So, and I know other people are playing that game, and I know there are people that are holding it. You can just, you can go on the wallet distribution of these tokens. That's something we haven't talked about too much either, is you can go into, and that's what I really like about Fart Boy as well, is the wallet distribution is fantastic compared to a lot of other meme coins. So, can we give you a synopsis of how to detect rugs? That is an excellent question. Is it Joshua? I don't have my glasses on. Yeah, Joshua. Do you guys have a little bit of time into how you do the research on Deck Screener to show how we spot a rug?
Yeah, for sure. So it wouldn't necessarily be on Deck Screener where I'd see, signs of a rug. The best thing to do, obviously, first of all, when you first buying coins, obviously to copy the contract address. So if you do go to, let's say, Deck Screener straight away, you copy the contract address, you'd probably want to paste it in a scanner somewhere. I mean, within our Telegram chat, we have a scanning contracts page where we copy the contract address and we paste it in the scanning contract page in our Telegram. And what that does, it brings up the RickBot. And what the RickBot would normally do is it comes up with the amount of top holders there are within a coin. So what you kind of want to do is you kind of want to see how many coins or tokens are held by the top holders. Around 3 to 4% is kind of like great, I'd say. We can't always expect the best, but 3 to 4% of the top holder wallet holding the coins. If you see a top holder with 50% of the total supply within that, then that is kind of like the red flags and the signs you want to look for within a rugged project or a potential rug that will be coming. Another thing as well that you can look at is to see if the liquidity is locked. So even if you just go on Deck Screener, you can see that the total locked liquidity, if it's 100%, you can see if some are being burned as well. So there's a lot of ways you can kind of like look. I think that would be like the first steps I'd take to look at what is a rug and what isn't a rug. There are other ways of doing it as well, like doing your own research potentially of the ticker, and also looking at it on Twitter and seeing if other people are, flagging the same things that you're seeing, or if they've found something that you haven't found yourself as well. So there are multiple ways in spotting a rug. I think the first thing to do is to copy the contract address, paste it in the scanner. We have one in our Telegram chat.
You want to show them? You want to show them quickly? Just
if I had Telegram up right now, I could, but I think my Telegram does mess about.
You want me to show them?
Yeah, get it ready. I'll
do that. I mean, that would be great.
Let me
I'll
just
talk-
get like UFD's small contract right now. Where is it on here?
Yeah, that'd be great.
One of the other things you can do on Deck Screener is you can go into the sniper section tab there as well, and you can see how many snipers are still in the token and how much of the wallet percentage they have. So if you're seeing snipers still in with a high wallet bag, good idea to stay away. And then on the bubble maps, the wallet maps, you can see if wallets are connected and then the wallet distribution. So if you're seeing a lot of connected wallets, or if you're seeing wallets, like you said, that are, a few holders on the majority, or there's one holder owns majority of wallets with a whole bunch of distribution that is smaller, congratulations, you just found a rug.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can even just go to the scanning contracts page. There'll be multiple ones in there, without
You can see
pasting
right now.
in the
You can share my
UFD
screen.
one. But what you want to look for as well is what we
Again.
found out that some are bundles. So even if you just go to that one, Amir, if you go down, scroll down a little bit to a bot where you see the bundles. So even if you just see there, you can see 2 bundles. If you scroll down, Amir, you're moving too fast. Someone's just pasted one into the chat right now. TH will be the top holders. So if you go down a little bit to TH, you can see the top holders and the percentage. You can see that 2% will be the first holder, and then 1.5% will be the second holder, 1.5 is the third holder, 1.3. That's kind of like good distribution across, a project. Even though it's at 196k market cap, this coin will potentially rug even still because it is quite low in the market cap. But looking at those percentages down below in TH and the top holders, you can see that there are 12% within those 5 top holders, which is still a large amount. So what you can do is you can click on them individually and it'll take you to SoulScan. But as you can see below, you can see that there were 2 bundles below, and those were 71% with 59.5 Solana. So you can see that there was bundles of the tokens were sniped with a lot of bundles in the beginning of the launch. So even, I mean, if you just click that 2.0 next to the TH in the top holders, if you just click it straight away, it will take you straight to the SoulScan. And if you open it straight away, what it will do, it will take you to the wallet that is holding that tokens. And what I kind of look for as well within this is I look for how long that wallet has been active for. So that is the first thing I'd check. So I mean, you have to verify that you are not a Grok or you are not ChatGPT or human.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just done it for you itself. And if you scroll down, you can see wallet age. You can start to see how long the wallet has been active for. So if you just scroll down all the way, Amir, and if you go to the last page, if you just go down, scroll down, you're moving way too fast. If you go to the right and you go all the way to the right, Amir. Or you could do that potentially and go all the way down to the bottom of the last page.
Like it never ends, does it? It doesn't end.
Keep going. Keep going.
This guy's a shitcoin creator.
He is.
And the wheel keeps spinning.
So
it's not gonna end.
This is good sign so far, because now we know that the wallet is not new. So if there was a wallet that was started, let's say the last hour, and they snipe the top percentage, they are more than likely going to dump it. And as you can see, if you scroll up, that top holder holds quite a lot of money in his wallet. So if you go to the top, Amir, if you scroll to the top, you can see that the top holder has over $642,000 in USDC. So he's not too hesitant to dump the token straight away. He's not a G. He doesn't need that money essentially straight away. So that's kind of like good signs of maybe like the top holder. But you'd probably want to go through plenty of them to get kind of like an understanding for sure.
Yeah, man. And you keep on our Telegram as well. We got support. You can ask us questions. As we always mention in the podcast. When you get started in crypto, you always want to have support somewhere, to get you started. And if you have any questions, we're always here. You can ask us questions. We got sentiment. We do weekly sentiment videos as well. That's telling us what's going to happen, where the money is flowing in the market, how the US dollar is looking, which correlates with every market, like I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast. And we got the GOAT channel where all the best tokens from the general chat are filtered into the GOAT channel. So
How
it's
do you
like a
get
cleaner. What was that again? Sorry?
You have to call 100x.
Yes. There it is. That's the description right there.
So
Call 100x, you earn your spot in the GOAT3D. So if you're in the general chat and you give us a coin, you call a coin, like you put the smart contract in, and you give us that coin, and it goes to 100x, you'll be knighted, basically. You'll be promoted into the GOAT3D channel, and only the GOAT3D can speak here, and people in the general can just watch this channel. So it's much cleaner. You get better calls on there. It's filtered. It's like a filtered version of it. And over here we do technical analysis. People ask me to do TA for them. I do TAs for them. Like I did XRP the other day. I did some other tokens, shitcoins. Yeah, man, we're covering everything. In this Senegal, we cover everything that you need to know.
What we've also done in our chat as well is we've also rewarded the people who have called the highest tokens as well. So even if you just share my screen kind of quickly, I'll probably just end this on this note, which were some of the winners for last month's tokens. And we had Ava, which was a 3,730x core. We had Citadel, which was a 3,025x core, and Baron, which was just under 2,500. And these people were rewarded with some Solana to keep them trading, and just as a thank you to the community. And we'll be doing this every single month as well. So yeah, just wanted to shout out you guys as well.
Great little community you got there, guys. I love it.
Giving back. We have to. They've given to us, so we're giving back as well. So yeah, it's a great community to be a part of. And the likes of Canna is in there as well. We've wheelbarrowed him over to Telegram from Discord somehow, but he's still.
I suck at Telegram, man. That is not a friendly app.
It's easy, man.
But I will always drop the gems that I do find in there for the community.
Yeah.
If you don't know, the three of us have been trading together for years now. And we trade everything from proper tokens, for lack of a better word, to memes, to NFTs, to gold, to stock. I have quite a diverse portfolio amongst all things, and I think diversification is key. Do not put all your bags into one aspect. That is a recipe for disaster. And that's true of all of it. Don't put all your money in stock. Don't put all your money in gold. Don't put all your money in crypto. A little blend of all three kind of helps you ride the waves out. Do we have any more questions from the community? It doesn't look like it. As we go longer, we always grab more. We're up to 871 now, which is still a little bit lower, but we know that because the blood is on the streets. People are panicking, and Super Bowl is coming. I'm going to say that's the same for me, guys. It's a pleasure every week to do this. Next week might be a little more difficult for me. I'll talk to you two after the stream, just because I'm going to be traveling to the Philippines on that day. So we'll see how we can figure that out. But if there is a change to the time, we'll make sure you, our community, are aware of that. But I'm going to shoot for the best to be able to make that happen. Amir, Remy Rai, any closing sentiments?
None from me. All I gotta say is make sure you've got that liquidity on the side for them dips, and make sure that you're a bottom buyer like Amir, because he loves bottoms.
Well, pause. All right, pause. I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something as well, which I mentioned in the community this week from an article that I posted on the Cryptoverse, and it was about buying low and selling high. People have this problem a lot. They rush into the market and they FOMO a lot. What I want to say is, guys, try and educate yourself on the market structure and demand zone, supply and demand zone, support resistance on a chart. And that will help you make wiser decisions. It's all about patience, guys. You got to wait for certain levels to hit these are levels of sensitivity in the market that price usually goes towards, that it magnetizes towards it. So you want to wait for those levels to get hit and then into the market. You don't want to, when you look at a chart, you don't want to just randomly jump in a chart, you know, without analyzing it properly. So have patience, pick out the best zones where you think that it's good discount, it's good value to enter the market, and wait for those levels. Price always rechases to those levels, especially in crypto, because of the low liquidity nature of crypto as well, and the risky nature of it. Price, the majority of time, it goes into those levels, and all you have to do is just wait for price to get hit in those levels and then into the market. Don't rush, guys. Don't FOMO in. Just relax, all right? Just let the price come to you.
FOMO is a hell of a drug, and it will take
Yeah.
all of the money, just like all the other ones.
For sure.
100%.
Sure. Yeah, that was all from me. Thank you guys again for tuning in to the GOAT3D Podcast. We are live every single Sunday. Next Sunday, we might have change in plans, but we will let you guys know ahead of it going live. Just want to say thank you to my co-hosts, Can of Crypto. Want to make sure that you guys are informed with, one of the best traders in the space from myself and Amir. We've learned a lot from this guy over the years. And pay attention to what Mr. GOAT3D Amir himself is posting on his Twitter page, because he is informing you guys on those bottoms and when to get out the market as well. So yeah, just want to say thank you to you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys enjoy your lovely Sunday, your Super Bowl Sunday. We are over and out.
Take care, guys.